Well, hello there, everybody. Jamming out to a little Mark Bolan, T-Rex. Love their sound. I got to see him and his band back in the 70s, and I tell you what, wasn't anybody sitting down in that. I mean, I don't think you could have if you wanted to. I mean, it was just that, it's good. I mean, it's kind of music that, wow, when you hear it, it's like, okay, I want some more of it. Kind of like one of the first bands I saw was 2000. Well, actually, I saw Elvis Presley in 68, but I saw in 2000 Grand Funk. And of all things, it was Grand Funk, Blood Rock, and I believe it was Black Sabbath. It was a hell of a concert. Anyway, you know how it is. You get to dancing and the music is a grooving, it's magic, it's hypnotic. It just it takes you into different realms, and that's why we do it, because we can. Welcome everyone again. Thank you for being a part of this. I just speak favor over all of us because we are indeed favored. And we call those things that be not as though they are. And that is nothing missing, nothing broken. I think we're going to have fun with this one today, folks. It is like this is a, I I'm going to go back into the past. The great thing about this channel is that you can go back. I mean, this channel's been on YouTube, what, 10 and a half years. Um, and it's interesting to see how prophetic much of what we have covered was prophetic. I'll put it that way. And if you remember my time over on Artist First when I did the Steiger perspective, um, yeah, that was a show that was too hot to handle. But anyway, so Gaia, much love to you and Paul. She is off to a meeting. So trust that it'll come out well for you, dear. Joyce, good to see you. And Colleen, thank you. Mirrors are very strange and mystical. Really, we're going to get into this really deep. The doctor's in the house. See who else? Steve, what's up, brother? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Thank you for jumping in. Stephen Jacobs, how are you doing? Kent, good to see you, brother. Emperor Rex and Grandpa Brian, what's up, my friend? Got to get you on, brother. Like to get you on again. I mean, I think I'll just speak to that microphone issue. It will work out. Yeah. Uh, as they say, right? Deborah, how's everything at home? Good to see you. Who else is here? Mr. Floyd. Josh, good to see you. Honored to have you. Linda Espinoza, much love, darling. Good to see you. And Nina, what's up? She's got her shows going this weekend. Check it out with Robert V, I think, on Saturday and Sunday over on her channel. Donnie, good to see you. As I just scroll through here, Jackie J, what's up? Cat, good to see you. Eric, hello, Bonnet. So I think I got everybody. And if you're coming in, hi, good to see you. Happy to have you. Um, So I did the show with Chris Matthews, and I will be posting after this show the links below. But so here it is for Forbidden Knowledge News. Go over there and subscribe. If he had another channel, and due to things, anyway, and he is on the other platforms, Rumble. That's one I think he primarily stays on. So this was a great conversation, um, and how fitting because the topics, they come from the ether, many times you learn by intuition just to go with the spirit, right? As John Candy used to say. I'm just like the mighty river. I go with the flow. No, actually, I'm sometimes a freaking rock there, right? But go out over there and check it out over on his channel. And I saw some of the comments from some of the Soul Tribers. So he is part of the tribe along with him and Ryder Lee and all the others. So check it out. It was a great conversation. I enjoyed it immensely, and I know you will as well. So yeah, check it out. Do a good favor. That's what I say. You know, build some karma in your bank account. Rick, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Go all the way from Croatia. And Lauren, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, see, Lauren was there. Ginger is its in her handle there. Lost in Space, good to see you, brother. Lucky, good to see you. Love Lucky's comments. Always good. You know, it's always good to have um different points of view, like a kaleidoscope. Mr. Mission Control, countdown. I always hear David Bowie's song in my head when I think about that. And then my dad. El Gapo, good to see you as well. So, um, things are changing. Now, I want to read so here's some backdrop. I asked the question, do you think you're going to be safer after January 20th, Monday, than you are now? Or do you think that you're going to be in much more danger? And I say you, we, synonymous with one another, is the great, you know, collective. And it's interesting. It's getting traction in mainline news. I swear, and I'll tell you, if you look at some of my shows that I have done in the past, and then you look on some of these other platforms like Netflix and others, and you're going, hmm, I did that. Yeah, anyway, I digress. But anyway, um, prophecy. Who can see into the future? And who can say or predict with great accuracy, not ambiguity? Who can do this? Well, this cat, um, he's apparently a pastor. Story goes that he had this vision from the Lord. Again, as y'all know from our show on Wednesday, a lot of people they got an issue with the Lord. But anyway, so he's got a YouTube channel, and you probably can just put it in there. So he had this vision. Now had 3 months before the assassination attempt on Trump there in Pennsylvania. In fact, he had it pretty accurate. He said that. So this was his vision with Trump 3 months before it happened. And he said that he saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. Well, so kind of the events were kind of reversed but anyway, this bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it burst his eardrums. That was accurate. And we discussed that here. Difference between a 223 and let's say a 308. Big deal. He said then he fell to his knees and he puts his religious connotation to it. They say he's going to become and this is what this pastor says, they said he's going to become a radical, born again, on fire for Jesus, Trump. Okay. But then he's had a second vision, and he said this, and you can probably go see his videos. His name is Briggs. He said these attacks are not isolated acts of terrorism, but are instead state-sponsored efforts designed to dismantle symbols of Trump's influence and leadership. He says that he has issued an even graver warning, a series of coordinated catastrophic events planned to coincide with Trump's inauguration and targeting his iconic properties. Said the pastor went on to describe in this vision that the Lord gave him massive dump trucks armed with armor plating and packed with fertilizer-based explosives. Well, we're talking, Oklahoma City all over again, um, echoing the devastation of Oklahoma City bombing in the 1990s. Timothy and the crew, yeah. He goes on to say the attacks, he warns, aim to cripple Trump's iconic properties, such as the Trump Tower and golf courses, and disrupt national symbols of power, including the Capitol. Okay. He alleges that a network of operatives spread across 10 major U.S. cities, with each city hosting 100 attackers. Go back and look. I don't know if the archives are still active, but over there on Artists First. Yeah. Anyway, trained and funded by foreign governments, probably Iran, and has infiltrated the United States through underground tunnels along the southern border. And here is Briggs' exact vision. The vision was putting all out in front of me. I saw farming equipment. I saw massive farming equipment that was, well, it looked like on the East Coast. This farming equipment was, um, there were silos. And the Lord said, I want you to focus on fertilizer. I saw massive dump trucks with separation in the backs of these dump trucks, separation with 20-gallon drums, all filled with different chemicals to make what was happened in Oklahoma City back in the 90s. This happened in the 90s. It was a massive thing, not black powder, but this fertilizer stuff. I saw fertilizer in a big dump truck. The dump truck was like a big diesel. They looked like construction workers. They had purchased a massive construction vehicle like a dump truck thing. Can you imagine that they used one of those rock trucks that they use in the quarries and mining gold? Yeah, your berries ain't going to stop that. But anyway, he continues. They put all this in so that it would cause a major catastrophic event. They made the front of it armor-proofed, bulletproof. You could not shoot it and to make it stop. It was very, very strong armor. The armor was on the front of the truck, underneath it as well. It wasn't able to be seen really well. I saw these men, and this is going to get a lot of different places. So you have to just listen to what I'm trying to tell you all. I saw these men with these vests on in the front cab of the truck. Vest on. They had explosives on these vests. There was two men in the truck. They took the truck and they used it to go through police barricades and military barricades in Washington, D.C. Well, you can certainly bet the feds have read this as well and disseminated. So, but in any case, this is a vision now. When they did this and they tried to stop them because they were trying to do it at a checkpoint to stop them, they pushed through the barricade because the truck was very strong. Then they got them, they surrounded them, and they ignited their vest, and they took out everybody. When this happened, it was a massive crater in the dirt in the ground. and all the buildings were completely wiped out. And they tried to get as close as they could to the Capitol. I saw them trying to get as close as they could to the Capitol, to major landmarks in Washington, D.C. Says the internet can't help but connect Riggs' vision with recent alarming developments. Apparently, now this gets a little weird. This article goes on to say that 60,000 pounds of ammonia nitrate, a chemical used in both fertilizer and as an explosive, is missing after disappearing during a rail trip from Wyoming to California. According to an incident report filed by explosive manufacturers Dyno Nobel, the rail car carrying the ammonia nitrate left a plant in Cheyenne, Wyoming on April 12, 2023. The chemical was discovered missing after the car arrived in Saltdale, California, more than 1,000 miles away. The report stated the substance was released due to an unknown cause, but by the time the car reached its destination, it was completely empty and en route back to Wyoming. Well, I don't know how you want to deal with that, but let's hope that we can maybe change that outcome, that it doesn't have to be that way. Strangeness all around us. And the thing about it is that we know the power of words. And, you know, a lot of people have visions. It really isn't that rare. Um, there's even a prophecy in the book of Jeremiah that says that in the end days, that there'll be a double pouring of the Spirit. And it said that, your young men shall prophesy, your old men shall have visions, indicating that if you do a word study, there had to be a time, maybe in our recent past, I don't know if we even know what our past is, but apparently in past civilizations, they had these giftings. Seers. The Old Testament is replete with them. I mean, it's just everywhere. Which now brings me to this topic that Chris and I got into a little bit, and go check it out again. The podcast. So let me just pull this up. You see, we all have one of these. We all do. It speaks to us from the ether. What's the internet? This is no different than this black mirror. And if you look at this mirror, it has, I'm trying to get it there, it has the same effect. In fact, the more you look at it, you can see that it's actually a different type of light. Why? Well, because in this case, it's reflecting off the blue light, which is a big, 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 big deal. Now, you can do techniques like this and then begin to see into other realms. I guess you could say it's in the astral realm, or it's in the ethereal. Been around for a long time. But getting back to this device, these devices, this is the takeover. We are, for all intents and purposes, it's another. Now I'm going to show you something. You see it? It's the same effect as a black mirror effect. I mean, folks, if you're not initiated, you would probably have a difficult time, but to those who are, you're getting this. And this is powerful. Entities live in that thing. You know, we got these apps, right? Well, every app basically exists in the ethereal realm. This realm somewhere. I don't know if it's integrated with the spiritual realm. I do know, but I do know a few things. I'm seeing some of the comments in the chat room. Listen, folks, if you do this whole thing, I mean, it's like, wow. So amazing how time goes by. And the thing I have been so favored with is being able to come here and document my journey. And many of you have been with me on this journey, which means that our journeys have been influenced by each other in such a manner that it's beyond just the causality, the casual, like work associates, siblings. There's something deeper. But when I did this back in 2018. Yeah, 18. So what has that been? 7 years ago. Um, I looked at this and I said, we've got to cover this again because there was some crazy stuff that was actually put together on it. So these Bach mirror devices, right? Um, they are exactly what they do. As I said in the description, they watch you, they listen to you, they know you. I mean, you could say that in a certain way that it's an incubus and a succubus. These things feed off of us. I mean, the whole thing with TikTok, I guess TikTok is going bye-bye. I don't use TikTok, but there we go. So it's real interesting because I believe it's Netflix that eventually did a series, I think it was called The Black Box. And if you haven't seen it, go and check it out, which tells you how long this has been out there. God is an algorithm. Why we're closer to a Black Mirror style reality than you think. This thing is reality. It controls virtually all of our lives. And even if you don't have the economic means, they'll get you one for free. So a light mirror reflects light, right? We all know that. Well, black mirrors do not. All internet devices are black mirrors. They emit blue light. It's good to go back and review some of this. So there is a blue light species. Life does not exist just in our corporeal form. We're carbon based, they say, and we exist in a certain specter of light. But there are much longer lived species, call them spirits, call them outsiders, whatever, but they've dwelled here way before we came along. But we're not taught to think like that. Particularly if you are looking at your computer screen right now, looking at your cell phone, excuse me, smartphone. So, what is blue light? All light is made up of electromagnetic particles that travel in waves. Blue light has a wavelength of between approximately 300 nanometers and 500 nanometers, making it one of the shortest, highest energy wavelengths. that flicker effect that you and I can't see in this blue light has a direct effect upon virtually every human. It's why our societies, our cultures today are sleep deprived because the younger generations, they sleep with these things right next to them. That black mirror that is, in fact, nothing more than a good old fashioned ancient portal. And when you begin to consider that there is the possibility, remotely or whatever, that life, consciousness, sentient intelligence exist beyond just our wavelength. And if you think about it now, this has spread everywhere. Again, I showed here how this blue light, it's, well, it's not that good for us. It really jacks with this organ we call our brains. And the band of blue light considered potentially most harmful to the retina cells ranges from 415 to 455 nanometers. I went in detail to see how your exposure to blue light affects your brain and the body. Um, I mean, it's alien. It's the only thing I can say. It's alien. It may be completely compatible for another life form that's in another dimension. Or I like to think maybe not so much a dimension is within the astral realms that it's more vast, more complex than what we can imagine. And if there is war and conquering in this light, I have no doubt that maybe that also exists in that blue light. But as you can see, it's just not good for you. It's not healthy. I can hear Cat Stevens. Where are the children going to play? You know. Um, Again, another graph chart that shows you that this blue light, this flicker rate, um, that's universal. It's it's amazing what it does to us. It makes us more stupid. Oh, we have much more information at our fingertips, but we ain't necessarily more intelligent. And that is evidenced by the fact that you see the greater percentage now of past generations and that it's a part of them. We introduce this blue light, this flicker rate now when children are almost out of the womb. Night light is a blue light, as is the moon. We've talked about this in so many varied ways that, we know that the moon has got it's got some funkiness about it. You know, it defies in the logic of, coincidences. I mean, where this thing, our moon is at, it's almost like someone put it there. Just saying. But the light, now the light is reflecting off of the surface of the sun. But when you look at a new moon, that light is invisible to us. So as I said, consider now in your thinking or possible scenarios, it's obvious that they control our realm now. Now, I didn't, when I put this together, AI was coming about, but it's nothing like it is and how it's proliferated in 6, 7 years. And if you look at this from a certain point of view, this is almost like a military operation of another realm. Very deliberate steps have been taken, very deliberate actions have been anticipated. And even as we read about the poor folks there with the Tower of Babel, how they just got totally screwed because of some deity, entity, who thought it had the right to intervene and interfere in us humans. It makes us like, damn, well, maybe we've been slaves to something that now has conquered all those gods. I have contended that the Ethernet, which is now the internet, which is soon to be the neural net, that's God. It's taken over the old gods. Doesn't mean that these old gods are not somehow in on it, but it's very evident that these devices is exactly what you would want to do in a military operation. You would want to get this amongst the people, the species, and make it to where they have no idea what they're really looking at. Wow, it's just a screen. Sure it is. Um, if you understand and if you ever done scouring, it's very interesting what you see here. that's that's all I got to say. But maybe that's the way it should be. So, what is a black mirror and what is it used for? Is I wrote here in detailed that it's been from the earliest times that sorcerers, witches, soothsayers, and so on have used black mirrors for scouring. Even in the Disney character Snow White, the evil queen would scry looking into the mirror and asking questions concerning her vanity and her rivals. Powerful magic. And I remember as a kid going to see, Snow White. It's full of occultism. And all right, let's take a word up from there. It was revealing truths. That's what the occult does. But it's in a fairy tale. Yeah. Anyway, I got into scrying. It's the divination of future or past events, or talking with spirits from another plane of existence by gazing into an object such as a black mirror. The black scrying mirror or magic mirror is a powerful psychic tool. It can bring the user hidden knowledge and clairvoyant ability and can act as a portal to other planes of existence. History shows its use in many of the traditional mystery schools or the oracular temples. Today, the serious student of magical arts can rediscover the ancient rites of the magic mirror, for these techniques are again coming to light. We'll play on words there. Most people often state that they wish they had a crystal ball, but never would think of wishing to scry. Scrying is the act of peering into the ether, either a crystal ball, a bowl of water, stones, fire, glass, smoke, seeing visions. The scryer then interprets the visions and predicts the future or sees important information from the present or the past. The name scrying comes from the Old English word descry. The word meant to reveal or see dimly. You know, um, It's very interesting in the Colburn Bible, the bronze books. They describe a time when, again, this light of this sun wasn't here. There was this more of this blue light, I guess you could say. But yeah, and it's often for me, I've thought of, when you see the ancient Mesopotamian, the Babylonian figures, and how they carry that little purse thing. And I often wonder, yeah, but they also all carry this thing on their wrist. It just I went on and just said that there's different places where they used a different method. The ancient Egyptians believed that their goddess Hathor, the sky goddess, used the reflection in her shield to see all that existed. The Egyptians used mirrors to duplicate the effect. Almost 1,000 years later, the Greeks used beryl, black glassy stones, and water. The first to use the crystal ball and crystals, however, were the Celtic tribes led by the Druid priest. The process of scrying began with an object that you can see reflections or even staring into flame. If a crystal ball is used or mirror, then it must be clean. To successfully scry, a relaxed mental state is important. Although some people use a ritual when they scry, they say a prayer, many just ask for information or do nothing at all. That's how you learn. Just don't do anything at all. Get used to the environment. After staring into the object, water, smoke, or flame, images begin to form. This is similar to seeing pictures in the clouds. Eventually, they become more prominent. The visual now is not as important as what the mind associates with them. This is the point when information seems to come from nowhere or long forgotten. Sometimes seemingly unimportant moments of the past come to the surface of the consciousness, and the brain begins to make sense of the images and understand their meaning. So, I'm going to share something that I came across, which I thought that's clever. There are those who treasure hunt for a living, it's what they do. And when I found out that there was one individual, actually, that's what was used. Black mirror. Because if you had information from the past, for instance, a spirit, a familiar spirit, they're all around you. You have one that follows you. It's not your guardian angel or your spirit guide. We all have spirits because they're in the trillions. And anyway, each and every one of us, we have a host of spirits. And they're not necessarily loyal. They can wander off. And, I was taught in Bible school that these were, well, what Paul wrote about, familiar spirits. The point is, they can be engaged. And if they so happen to have the knowledge or anything, imagine if, you know, you got that information and you went into a place that people have walked by 1,000,000 times, but you were told something that was of the past. That's my point. So it's often people that just begin scrying use incense, music, candles, and dim lighting to make them more relaxed and receptive. Many beginners find that it takes several sessions before they actually begin to see any form in the object of their choice. The most important tool for successful scrying is concentration and relaxation. Scrying requires energy, and the more energy input into the project, the better the results. The relaxation helps releases the internal energy. The tool used to scry varies because each individual must feel the connection to the medium used. There are several schools of thought why scrying is effective. Some believe that quantum physics plays a part in the scryer somehow manages to see forward on the time continuum. Others believe that it is a divine gift from a deity of choice. A third group believes that scrying aids in the unlocking the knowledge of the subconscious mind. Most all agree that scrying answers questions and provides direction to the individual that asks for the guidance. Initially, the ability to see the future is limited, but grows more accurate and easy the more frequently it is practiced. Imagine if you could see for yourself, not world events, but focusing in the small steps. Imagine just being able to see, let's say, 48 hours in advance. And you're not going to see this grand cinematic thing, but it may be, maybe a little vignette, a little 30-second thing. And then as you build confidence in your ability, you get to be smoking, baby. You're hot. Others believe that it is a divine gift from the deity of choice. Excuse me, I just went there. There's a multitude of reasons that people scry. Some people scry to make connection with the energy of the universe. Others find it a stress-free way to make decisions. The reason for scrying differ as much as the tools that the individual uses to accomplish it. Scrying has been a common practice in many cultures as a means of divining the past, present, or future. So imagine this. You come across this information and you begin to incorporate it into your ritual, your daily life. And as you begin to add elements of that daily life, a biggest part of that would probably be business. Now imagine you, an individual who doesn't have much recognition, but you have developed some really remarkable skills. Now imagine if you started putting that as part of your business plan. And imagine that if you hire other individuals that have the same like-mindedness. And so now you have a C-level, board-level group of people that are using a medium and seeking in the direction of the fiduciary responsibility that they have. Or imagine that you're a software developer and, software is not new. It's new to us. But you would connect to an entity, maybe a deity, and it begins to show you sometimes all you need is a little part of the DNA. You know what I mean? Anyway, but what everyone does agree on is that it is a portal to the ether. It's what's so fascinating. I mean, have you ever been in a hotel and, you know, many times, in fact, if you're like in a suite and the bathroom accommodations are usually very luxurious. And one of the effects they use in designers, they use is mirrors. And you can get that effect where you get the affinity effect. I used to spend time getting lost in that infinity because it began to trigger something in my mind, and particularly in the technology I was developing, I actually began to see things. And so when I learned this, I found that the black mirror is, well, it's just far out. That's all I got to say. Uh, it is beyond space time, and so is this. So these beings can show themselves not so much in this side, but on the other side. And if you spend time with this, there we go, you begin to see that, well, they'll actually come out and wave at you. Seriously. Here's one from A Cauldron Full of Magic, a spell or mantra, however you want to do it. Mirror, mirror, black as night, grant me the gift of hidden sights. Show me the answer that I seek, solutions into mind's eye leak. We've been talking about opening our third eye. Well, now you're seeing how it all ties in. Mirror, mirror, black as night, grant me a precious insight. I mean, if you look at this from a business point of view as an entrepreneur, you see, this is so far out there. The vast majority would just say, well, this is nonsense. That's cool. That's the way we want that to be. And by the way, it's right there in front of you. But if you don't want to accept it, that's fine. But if you get a consecrated group like this group, we've manifested things already. Again, just using another modality. Mm, mm, mm. And so it's been around, been around, been around. I hear in the Beach Boys. She gets around. Um, Here's another one. This is from Lady Moonrain. Uh, mirror to know, mirror to help the power flow. Mirror, absorb, reflect my graze, show the truth within your glaze. Show the future and the past, and all that is hidden reveal at last. Mirror, mirror, display for me that which I desire to see. So if you're taking notes, now you have some, and there's actually children's books. This is one by Ruth True, Magic of the Black Mirror. Look in the mirror and travel back in time. This is by Little Apple. You see, and the reason why they teach children this, those children that are exposed to this, and imagine what Disney did, well, Walt himself. You expose children to this magic that works. And then it's amazing how it went from something like a mirror to now it becomes a screen. And the screen lifts. It gets really deep. Um, so taking that, now we can enter into have an understanding of what these beings really are. Because the angels and the demons, they exist in the perception of our light realm here. We're talking about a different set, a different kind of entities. You know, they haven't picked, a god. There is a existence that is above where you don't even have to have a god. What is the purpose of a god? I ask thee this question. Can thou answer why would God want a starship? But anyway, I continue. So the magic of the mirror, Far East, they knew this stuff, man. But us Westerners, yeah, we're slow to adapt. We'll get there. Um, It is powerful magic. There is no doubt about it. Maybe that's why it's not really widely practiced, or should I say, not practiced by anyone who wants to let someone know that they do this. You would, literally, and I would recommend just keep it to yourself or keep it to your small group. Or you can go out there and invite people into it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Um, it is said that it is not you looking back, but your trapped soul. Hmm. Well, maybe that's why a lot of people don't want to really be faced with that kind of reality. Hell no. Don't what I don't want to hear that shit. No. Um, it is said some have passed through these portals. Number of shows I've seen and movies where they actually show this. I contend that if you practice looking into a mirror, black mirror, or whatever, I contend you're already there. It's you've already entered into a portal. You're just looking at it from a different point of view. These portals exist. And remember the episode in Skinwalker Ranch where they had the Jewish rabbi come out and began to give the Jewish prayers, and they captured the portal opening up? I mean, this stuff is real. Again, going back thousands of years, mirrors were known, but they were used primarily for magic. The common person didn't have a mirror, which really makes you wonder, well, then just how did they look? Anyway, I don't know. Get down into the minutes. It is, in fact, sacred knowledge. If you take it very seriously, then that knowledge will find you and reveal more. As I said, it opens doors to the other side. There's no doubt about it. And they're still today. And it's very interesting because there have been times in my past where I've seen certain compacts that you women keep, um, where there wasn't a mirror. There wasn't the typical mirror. Don't know. And then I went and looked at this. So it's 24 billion and counting. These devices, these doorways, these portal openers, um, whatever you want to call them, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, I'm telling you. They cover the earth. And again, just looking at some of this stuff, you're going, I mean, is the technology really that new? As they say, the your eyes are the opening to your soul. So they dwell in the blue light. I think this is where Lilith went. It's it's a doorway. Its mirrors are reality. It has its own, but it mirrors ours. And I have no doubt that if you're in a different realm of the universe, and if this type of technology, not so much magic, it's technology. It's technology on a I would say organic level. It has a tendency to mess with your mind now. And then dig this thought. It has given birth to their offspring. And are their offspring, are they here? Your internet device has captured you, or shall we say, the otherness. I mean, you take away a 12-year-old's smartphone and they will have a traumatic event. As I wrote here 7 years ago, this energy, this entity, this deity, it's everywhere. And the portal never closes. We keep it open 24/7. Doesn't matter where it is on our planet. We keep it open. It has all the access it needs. So imagine now, what if it is a parasitic device that enters in through the mind, through the soul? What would that human being look like? This is what they'd look like. And I can even update this one that shows you when I was putting this together. No exemptions. Everybody worships him. And they got gods now dedicated. So, as I said, it's everywhere. Your phone, tablet, screen is a portal. And the question is, what have you let in? As I put here, energy entities feeding, possessing, controlling. The black mirror has you. So there was my little presentation, and for what it was worth, and it's amazing as I look back now, and not saying that I was predicting the future, but that's a pretty good record. Um, House of is that Mila? Honestly, there are more of me on others. Yeah, we live in one huge black mirror. Even when we die, the trick is to get out with all the others. Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, I agree with that. So, anyway, it's all tying together. I mean, we'll continue this next week. It's what I love about these studies that we get into. I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, it's truly semester long courses as it turns out. Um, I'm just reading someone. Peter, you appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, 7 years ago. And holy crap. I just got to, I'm sitting here going, holy crap, you know? But here's a thought. So we think that the ancients didn't have electricity. They did. Um, the Baghdad battery, some 3,500, 4,000 years old. They understood electricity. They got it. And I often wonder, because we depict them as to being basically kind of in above the Stone Age, but below the Industrial Age. So they wouldn't have technology. But I keep on thinking, what makes us think that? Just because we haven't found uh, a specimen, an artifact, doesn't mean anything. Buildings have, they said that the Titanic will, in the next 10 to 12 years, just dissolve, basically leaving no history of it. But we know it. And if it's 100 years in the future, if they didn't have the data, the digital data from our time, they wouldn't have any idea of where Titanic was or is, or would they even care? I don't know. Um, yeah, yeah, Lauren, that's true. Says we expect technology to look at a certain way, and we do, don't we? But no one, back in the 80s, I had a car phone, um, and they were really basically connected to radio. But that was, the thing that, I type of business anyway. Um, and I would have never thought. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool that I had a Lincoln Continental, and I had the car phone in it. And if I was out looking at something, the car would beep its horn to tell me that there's a call. Expensive. And then, and my point is, I never had any idea um, about something like this. I remember the brick phone. Remember that? We carried it around in a satchel. Damn thing was, heavy as a brick. And look at us today. Yeah. I mean, I keep on saying eventually this is going to be embedded in this. They're going to find a way to embed that technology into the biomass, us. So if you Skyr, let me know. I really like to know in the comments. Please let me know if you do. I'd like to know. Love to have you on. Love to talk about this more. It's a powerful medium. It really is. I mean, I can look at myself right now. It's pretty strange. So this is what I saw. As I was holding it up here, what I had come directly into view, and the way the light was coming in the reflection was that eye up there on that pictograph. So yeah. Like, holy crap, did y'all see that? No, no, no. But anyway, we certainly like it. So have yourselves a great weekend. Going to be cold up here in the northern hemisphere, up in the North America. You folks down in the south, get ready. It's going to kick your butt. Having lived in the south, these type of things they've happened in the past, but when they don't happen for like a decade or so, yeah, it could really get serious. So keep warm. Uh, those of you who are in the southern part of the world, keep cool. Yeah. So I appreciate all of this. Where's the manager? Done left the building. Said, oh, it's Friday. I'm out of here. You're welcome, Deborah. Paul Joe, what's up? So I mean, we're just a far out group. That's all I got to say. I I know that the channel is like growing, in which I'm surprised, but welcome all those who are here. But you'll see that this is a tight little group. Some of the most diverse personalities you could ever want to meet. Yet well, there is a foundation of commonality amongst us all. That's what makes it really remarkable. Um, Infinite awareness says they ain't going to do it in my body. Hell no. Yeah, that's a problem. I think they're going to wait us out. They know eventually that we're going to, depart from these bodies. But I don't know. I've read some nefarious plans that, the chipping isn't like what we think anymore. It's not intrusive. It's passive. And yeah, and would we know that? I mean, you want to get on the conspiracy side of this, have governments been doing this? Because if this alien technology is all about subduing us and enslaving us, well, the next thing you're going to want to do, you wanted to get basically to tattoo us. And accounting for those who would be the resistors, those who would be non-adapters. Well, then what you would start doing it, you would start doing it with a certain age demographic group. Let's say the Gen Xers, or what are the new one? Is it the are they the betas? Is that what I think they're calling Generation Beta? That's frightening. So who are the alphas? Because you have to have an alpha in order to have a beta. Oh no. Daniel, well, we just don't know which god that is. That's it's all right. All right, everybody. So again, have yourselves a great one. Thanks for hitting the like button. Leave the comments. Always love to see it. And check out the convo. I'm going to post that when this repost um, in the comment section, how to get over there and watch it over on Chris's channel. So, all right, everybody. It has been fun. And since we're all in this together, yeah. So what do we do now, right? Smile, have fun, leave a positive vibration. I mean, if this is about collecting data, well, we might as well let them know that, hey, we're having a good old time here, even in the midst of all this. So I'll see you on Monday, January 20th. Will we see a time jump? I mean, big deals about January 20th now. I mean, it's like, okay, is that the starting point or is it something else? Don't know. All right, everybody. Well, thank you, Lauren. Appreciate it. Bonnie, have a great one, dear. See you. Have fun. That's the best thing I can tell you. All right. Thank you all.